Hi everyone, Luke here from Weekend Tour Pros and welcome today to Piltdown Golf Course in West Sussex in England. This is a top 100 golf course, something of a hidden gem because not as many people have heard about it as they should have. It's a heather-lined course with no bunkers, which makes for a really interesting feature of this golf course. It should help me out as I'm not the best bunker player in the world, but it's got some tiny greens, some narrow fairways and only 6,000 yards. It isn't the longest in the world, but based on its slope rating, don't expect it to be easy. We've got some strong winds out here today, somewhere in the region of about 20 mile an hour with gusts getting up a little bit higher as well, so that's going to make things a little bit more difficult. I've never played the golf course before, but it looks like it's going to be very similar to my home golf club of Blackmore, so really keen to get out there and see what we can shoot round here today. Right, let's tell you all about the first hole and let's start playing some golf. Right, so first hole, 365 yard par 4, just goes up the hill and round to the right ever so slightly. Feel like I need to hit driver even though I don't know my way around this golf course. Would love to have just papped something down there off of the first, but feel like we've got to hit driver and just try and hit something down there. There's a nice tree in the distance that we're going to try and go at. It's nice, the wind's just hit it, so it's not going to go as far as we would like. We're up just there, just short of that 150 stake, maybe just rolled just off the fairway, but it's a good start straight out the car. So just as we're walking down the first after that tee shot, a couple of things I want to tell you about this golf course that's really interesting. Opened in 1904, so 120 years ago now. It started off as a 10-hole course, and over time they added the additional 8 holes as golf became more popular, and 18 holes became the customary number for a round of golf. In terms of the work on this golf course, in particular in the last 20 to 25 years, it's really come on leaps and bounds. They did all of the greens, I think somewhere in the region of about 10 years ago, finished that work maybe about 6 or 7 years ago now. And they've invested heavily in a heather restoration project to try and restore the natural features of this golf course, and that's going to be one of its primary defences today. Something I'm quite familiar with my own golf club, but some of my American audience, I'm not sure how much of that you get out in the US, so this could be a treat for you today, the purple heather that you'll see throughout the golf course. So really happy with that first tee shot straight out the car. Definitely not my longest into the wind, but we'll absolutely take it. We're just in this little first cut of rough with the heather just there. The pin is 160 away up the hill and the wind. I don't want to be long because I don't know what's back there, so I've got a 6-iron, which I think at best, if I absolutely crunch it, might get us onto the front edge from this distance, but we're going to give it a hit. Looks like there's a load of room right of the flag as well, which, considering my misses tends to be a bit of a draw or hook, it looks like there's a lot of space for me there as well. It's a great line, it's a nice strike. Just as I was walking up to the green here, I've hit a really nice shot. We're actually almost pin high because I've just played from that direction there, and we're just putting now across the green or down the slope as well as it looks. As I was walking up though, my first impressions were this place looks absolutely stunning. The only thing we've got to be worried about today is the wind and me not knowing my way around the golf course. Right, how fast are these greens putting down the slope? This could make me look really silly, this first putt. Turn, turn. It's really good for pace. And a tap-in 4 on the first. We'll take that, come on. So second hole is the only par 5 on the course. Probably given how difficult I'm led to believe, it would normally be a hole you'd want to take advantage of, but it's playing into the wind today and it is over 500 yards, albeit it's down the hill. And I think really off the tee, you want to be as brave as you can down the right-hand side just based on the direction of the hole without bringing these bushes into play. So let's see what I can do. Hitting driver, straight again, still straight out the car, so I think anything that's even just like 180 at the moment would be considered a good drive today. I can really feel how strong that wind is. You've just seen it blow my head cover off. So hopefully we can get this one away. Yeah, not too disappointed with that as well. The wind's just moving it a little bit to the left as it comes down, but I think we're absolutely in the middle of the fairway. So I'm absolutely delighted with that drive. It's actually rolled out to about 225 yards, even though it's into the wind, so it must have been a good hit. We've got some banks of heather. The one on the right hand side seems like it kicks in at about 165 yards from here. The one on the left is probably a little bit further and nearer 200 if you're on the line of the buggy that the guys are in front of me. But they're both inside the 150, so I don't feel like I want to take it on and be aggressive and try and hit a hybrid or a fairway wood down there. I think the sensible thing, having not played the golf course, is just try and hit it sort of 150 down there, get inside the 150 stake, maybe somewhere in the region of like 135 in, and just take our chances that we can get a good third shot. So I'm going to hit a 6-iron again just because of the breeze that's up there, and it should allow me to hit it smoothly. Not my cleanest hit by any stretch of the imagination, so it's probably going to be a bit short of where I wanted it to be. So 142 yards in, like I say, it wasn't my best hit, that last one, but it achieved the goal and it's got us out of trouble and in the middle of the fairway. Pin looks like it's at the back. I don't want to go long of it as a result because I think it might leave me short-sided. So I'm just going to try and hit a 7-iron, which I'm hoping into this wind should be there or thereabouts. Another one's a little bit clean, but it might just catch the green. Roll up there, stay there. I think we're just on the front right. Right, another long birdie opportunity. Settle, 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 settle. Oh, just a bit aggressive. It's probably rolled off camera, but it's still going. Now, it doesn't take a genius to tell you that when you're playing on camera and you set the camera up behind the hole and you hit it so far past it that it actually goes beyond the camera and you've got to move it, that's a bad putt. Right, 6 foot back up the slope to try and save par all of a sudden. Not hit it hard enough and it's moved. So third hole is stroke index 1, and from what I can see it looks like it's quite a sharp dog leg, and I think we're going to have to play over a ditch or some water with the second shot as well. And I think because of the way the tee is, it's probably 10 yards forward today from where it normally would be. I think the second shot, no matter what you do, is going to be long because the tree on the corner is 185, so I think even if I hit a good hybrid and take it into the middle of the fairway and try and cut the corner a little bit, I still think we're going to leave ourselves sort of 200 in up the slope. Now we are downwind on this tee shot, so got a little hybrid. It's normally a 175 club, hoping with the downwind we can maybe get this out there 185, 190. A terrible strike. It's going to leave me a long way in, but it's going to chase down there. So far from the best golf shot I'm going to hit today, but look, golf is actually about getting the ball in the hole right in the fewest amount of shots, and if I'd hit a good strike and it landed here, I'd have been happy. We are round the dog leg, we can see round. We've got 197 though still up the hill to a front pin, so it's a long way to go. And we've got some bridges here. I don't think it's water because I can't see any red stakes, but that could be the case. But we've got to make sure we at least carry this over the first 50. There's no way you can hit a bad shot like I did on the last one. And we're coming out the first cut and the ball's slightly going down the slope ever so slightly. So although I would like to hit a 5-wood for the distance, I feel like I need to hit a 7 just because I need that little bit of extra pop, and at best accept that it's going to be a bit short. We've got an absolutely unbelievable lie here as well, so there's no excuses if this isn't a good golf shot on the lie itself. And that's a terrible golf shot. Get out of there. So I might be being really ignorant here and assuming that you don't get a lot of heather courses in America, maybe because I've never seen them on tour or whatever. But what I would say to you guys is this stuff is really gnarly. You've just got to get yourself out of it. On my home golf course, we've got some thick stuff. This is incredibly thick stuff with the gorse and everything around it. So if I can get this out of here and get it anywhere near the green, we'll be happy. Now 5 is a great score. We've got a chance here if we can hit this chip and get it close and get up and down. We could escape here with a 5, and that's got to be the goal at this point. Just chase on a little bit for me. Turn now, turn now, turn now. Delighted with that. Just based on what that chip was doing, it was all moving that way as it came, and the whole green is sloping from back to front. So I've got this, even though it's only 3 foot, just on the right edge, and I'm just going to hope that we don't power it through any break and it does just slide across the hole for me. This is a slippery little putt that you don't really want on camera. Oh, and it slid away. I should have been more aggressive. Right, 4th hole is the first of the par 3s, and on paper this is the signature hole of this golf course, and you can absolutely see why. It's just awash with that lovely purple heather, which does give you a forced carry, and I think it's just the clever design of this course that it looks like the heather is almost level with the bottom of the cup, but I'm guessing there's a little bit of a ridge that drops down. We're playing straight into the wind as well at the moment. It's 180 to that pin. I've got a 7 wood, which is normally a 185 rolling out to maybe 190 kind of club, and I'm hoping that's just going to be enough where we are slightly down the hill to get there, but we do need to hit a really good strike here to have any chance. I think it needs to go on that line. This is absolutely dead and buried. Like, it took me nearly all of my 3 minutes to find this golf ball. This is going to be an absolute jab out, and anything out of here is an absolute success. Sit now, sit now, sit now, sit! It's just come scooting out so far left and rolled through the back. Chip here, let's see what we can do. Needs to roll out, keep going, keep going, keep going. I told you this course wasn't going to be easy, people. If you can't carry it 180 into the wind, 10-yard wind, you're not going to be making anything on this par 3. Just a little bit pacey. They're not getting any easier, people. This next hole here we've got is stroke index 3. It's a long par 4. It's one of the 5 par 4s that are over 400 yards just off of these middle tees that we're playing today. This one here looks like it doglegs around slightly to the left. Looks like it's really safe to kind of miss to the right here and not wanting to miss to the left. So that's what we'll do. We do have a little bit of wind coming off of maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, so it should help, but it should also want to kick it to the left. So that should give me more incentive to want to hit this down the right and see what happens. Come on, wind, hit it. So I've smoked it down the right, it's just stayed there. Don't be blocked out by that tree. I've got 192, but I need to get it under this tree over the next one. There is a tree sort of back left of the pin, just over that 150 stake, that looks like a good line, and that would avoid the heather mound that is protecting the front right of the green as well. It is sat down a little bit in a fluffy lie, so I'm not sure if me trying to hit this 7 wood is the right idea, but we're on YouTube, right? This is about having fun, trying to hit some good golf shots, so let's just see what happens. We've clipped the tree, and we're going to roll straight into the heather. Oh, we just stopped short of it. So because we've hit that tree, we've come out about 50 yards short of the green. Over these heather mounds, hopefully it's going to then just feed up. So let's see what we can do. Kick left. Just shut the face down on it, but it's pin high. So just off this green, sloping down and to my left, to your right, is what my gut feel is. And I think it's going to be reasonably quick. I've not hit it, and it's taken the slope even more than we thought. Ouch. Thank God for that. So 6th hole is another long par 4, 397 yards, but we're just going straight back into the wind, the exact opposite kind of direction to the hole we've just played. There's a marker in the distance that is signalling the line, so we're just going to go at that. I think it's just doglegging round to the right once it gets round there. So anything at that marker feels like it's a good hit today. Maybe a touch right, but it's an unbelievable strike. So I'm delighted with that drive. Absolutely delighted with it. We've got it to the 150 stake, so hit it about 245 into the breeze, albeit we are down the hill a little bit. We've got 159 to the pin because it's right at the back, and from what I can tell, you don't want to go long of this, but equally, I feel like I need to get it there. So I've got a 7. Stay there. Just turned over. It's bouncing, so I think we're okay. Maybe just chipping from the right side. Definitely the right club, because we're level with the front edge of the green here. We are just a little bit right of it. We've got a really nice fluffy lie. Got a little gap where it's just going to try and chip it, hopefully get it on there a couple of feet. Just let it release down. That's terrible alignment from me. It's a great chip in terms of strike. I've just turned it over a little bit. Putting up the hill, maybe 7 or 8 feet here for par. I think it's fairly straight. If anything, I think it might just turn off of the left a tiny bit as it gets to the hole, depending on the pace. No, dead straight. Nice little 5 though. So we're 6 holes in now, and just as you're flying over this short par 3, the word that just keeps coming to my mind as I'm playing this golf course is stunning. Absolutely stunning. Like, this is everything that you normally see in the Surrey-esque Heathland courses that are double or triple the price of this golf course. It's absolutely beautiful. This one here then, playing to this pin today, 128, back left it looks like the green is severely pitched from back left to front right too. That's a golf shot. Be the number. Oh, be the number, baby. What a shot, and we've got ourselves a birdie putt. I must admit, when that was in the air and it was all over the flag for a split second, I started to think, is that going to be the hole-in-one on camera? Because it was a perfect 9-iron yardage for me. I think this is going to it's going up the hill. But I think it's going to turn that way just ever so slightly. Because it's a birdie putt, I want to make sure I get it there. So I'm going to try and give it a little bit of a run. Yes! I don't make many birdies on camera, but that was a delightful one on a stunning par 3, and that's why the fist bump happened. Come on. So after that birdie, we're back to a bit of brutal holes here. 389 yard par 4, going up the slope off the tee, and that's why I've got a stake in the fairway. Hopefully from the drone flyover you guys can see which way it's going. I'm hoping it's just quite a straightaway hole based on kind of the trees that I can see into the distance. So I'm just going to hit driver. Hopefully we can get it down there, find it, and give ourselves a chance of making another par. Pleased with that. I don't know if it's good or not. It's not far right of it. It's bouncing. I hope we're okay. Right, so we've hit a really good drive there. We are down the wind on this hole where we're kind of zigzagging up and down a little bit at the moment. So we're actually only 132 into the pin. So we've hit that, what, about 255 off of the tee. Because it's down the wind with 132, I'm going to hit a 9-iron. And I feel like I can just hit a nice controlled one here because it's the same sort of yardage I need to hit as what I hit on the last par 3. So hoping that we can hit a good one. And then I've chunked it a little. Is it going to go up there? I've caught it a little bit heavy, but it's actually pin high. It's just rolling off, I think, on the right side. So probably was handy that I caught that a little bit heavy because it has just bounded down here, and we are pin high, like I say, to the right. Based on the fact that my ball moved this way, we're obviously going up the slope a little bit, and I think, again, I might be wrong, but it is going to just want to turn just ever so slightly to the left, although the wind is coming that way, so it might hold it out there. God, that's turned a lot. Wow, really did turn. Delighted with that. Nice 3-hole stretch there. A short par 4, and actually probably a little bit of a reprieve after what we've had, but we are now playing with the wind howling into us off the right hand side. It does even want to blow the tripod over. I've had to come and move it, pick you up once. So we are going to try and hit this quickly before the tripod goes again. Just going to hit a 5 wood and just try and muscle it down there. Oh, stay out that heather. Not a very good tee shot at all. And we are in the heather, and it is quite thick. We've still got 132 with the wind into this hole. The problem I don't know is how far I need to carry it to get over that heather, and can I even get enough of a strike to do it. I've got a 9-iron, and I am going to play left here just to try and give me as much angle out as I can. I'm also going to assume that the club is going to want to turn over, so I'm going to grip it a little bit harder, really try and be steep on this and see what we can do. Oh, it's a bad choice because we've not even got it out of there. That was so thick, people. Oh my God, it's still in there. Playing out sideways. Or not, look at that. It's still gone back in there. Even that's not through it. Now we're left with a horrible pitch shot that I've duffed. And it's all falling apart because I've duffed it into the heather. Absolutely can't believe it. Like one of the easiest holes yardage wise on the golf course. And then I've messed it up. Go over there. There's your scorecard wrecker, people. There's your scorecard wrecker. Right, we need to reset after that. That was a bit of a scorecard wrecker, but let's just make sure it's the only one today by resetting. 10th hole here, start of the back nine. We've got a nice little short par 3, downhill 145 to that front pin, playing with the wind just off of the right-hand side. So it should be just a nice little number for me with an 8. Just left it out to the left, I think, slightly. I think it's pin high, just out to the left-hand side. Probably half a club too long there. The good news is this bit of heather is ground under repair, so if I do the inevitable and duff it into it in a second, at least we know we get to take a drop from it. I feel like I just need to hit a little 60-degree, pop it over it, and then just let it feed down, hopefully to the right-hand side. Get out of it, get out of it. I just didn't hit it hard enough out of there. Turn, turn. It hasn't. So 11th hole, looks like it's a dog leg just round to the right hand side. Heather all guarding it down the left, trees guarding it down the right. So the miss is the left, but as we've seen from a couple of holes ago, you don't want to be in that heather. I've had a little measure, I think I can take driver here. So we're going to have another hit of it because I have hit it quite well so far today. I can see the 150 stake up there in the distance, so I think anything just right of that would be nice. That's perfect, absolutely perfect. We've left ourselves 135 to a back pin, and the wind's going in the same direction as the 9-iron we hit a few holes ago, about 3 holes ago. So I'm therefore wanting to make sure that I don't absolutely flush this because we don't want to go long. Sit. Oh, I've not hit it hard enough. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. It's not even got there. So after coming up short and quite a way short, we left ourselves a horrible one. I think in a perfect world you chip this, but I'm on a downslope and then it rises up and the pin's a good 3 feet above me here, and I just don't know how I would judge a chip because I'd want to use loft to get it over this, but on a downslope I just don't know if that's the right thing for me to be doing. So we're going to have a putt. Equally don't know how to judge this at the moment, thinking that all of a sudden 5 feels like a good score, 4 would feel like we've snuck one out of this hole. That's a terrible line, but it's great pace. I don't know about you guys, but I am terrible. When there's big slopes and I think the ball's going to move or slide across it, I'm terrible at judging what way they go. If anyone's got any advice on that, let me know in the comments section down below. Right, we've got ourselves still 10 foot for par. I think this is going to go a little bit to my right, so your left as you're looking at it, just because I can see a slope just left of the pin. Oh my days, that's such a good putt. I thought for a long while I'd hold it. So on to the 12th. Now when I was researching this course and looking for places that I wanted to come and play, This was one of the reasons why I wanted to. So many people said that 12 and 13, they're not the signature holes, but back to back, they are two stunning holes. And hopefully with all of that heather out in bloom, as you guys can see at the moment, it just makes an absolute stunning backdrop for a golf hole. It's only, I think, 307 yards, this hole. So it's not a long one by any stretch, but there is so much heather there. It's incredibly narrow that even into the wind, I feel like I'm going to play defensive here. So I've got a little hybrid. I'm going to try and play it down the left-hand side. Obviously not stupidly left, but down the left-hand side, away from that heather, and hopefully we get a good one. If it stays there, it's awesome. Exactly what we wanted. It's maybe a little bit too safe down this left-hand side. We've rolled off the fairway by about 3 or 4 yards, and it's actually quite fluffy here for a first cut, and my ball sat quite down. I actually struggled to find it to begin with. I've got 131 into the pin, which looks like it's at the back, again into the wind, but I feel like I need to make sure I'm short of it. So I'm going to try and hit a 9-iron, just hope that we can come up, hit it good, and hopefully roll up a little bit short. Come on, come out of there, get a kick. Oh, it's just stayed dead straight. I think it's pin high, but just a little bit to the right. Oh, I don't know what to do here because I've got a like a sprinkler head or something in my way, like a rain drain here. And the grass is quite thick and every part of me wants to chip it, but we're on a downslope and a bare lie. And I just don't know, I think it's going to go that way as it gets down there. So I'm going to try and hit this just to the right of that drain with a putter. Turn for me. Go, do it, do it, do it. I'll take that, I'll take it. Now while that was incredibly cautious and I didn't have the bottle to take on the drain with some loft off of that bare lie for fear of thinning it, there's a massive drop off the other side of the green. I genuinely think if you'd given me 20 chips, I might have got one as close as this. Oh my days. Golf, you are punishing me today. Right, hole 13. The second of the two stunning holes that people told me about. 400-yard par 4. Not sure where we're going, but there's a stake in the middle of the fairway, so we'll go at that. I can see the 150 on the left-hand side, so I think we want to be at the stake. It does look like it drops to the right though, so I don't know how far right we can go. Wind is behind and helping, so we should be able to get a nice one away here. Just like that. Stay out that heather. Oh, it's absolutely perfect. It's miles down there. Sorry to interrupt the action, but unfortunately at this point in the round I had a slight technical issue. This microphone right here has got a safety feature on it to try and preserve the battery life, whereby if you turn the camera off for about 5 or so minutes, it turns the microphone off. Now I didn't know that feature existed because the camera was only about 1 month old at the point in time, and all of the testing and all the filming I'd done up to that point, I actually hadn't stopped using the microphone for that period of time to realise this feature existed. Now the camera does have a backup microphone right where my hand is placed at the moment holding it, but unfortunately due to how strong those winds were on the day and the fact we don't have a windshield on that microphone, quite a lot of the sound it picked up is quite deafening and it isn't very good quality. It'd probably just put you off watching the rest of the video. So what I've done for the next 5 or so holes, they are absolutely stunning. I play some good golf on those holes and I really want to show them off to you, is I've voiced over for the next 10 or so minutes, try to bring you on the journey of how I was feeling on the day, the shots that I hit, and try and talk you through the rest of this remaining golf course. Right, let's get back to the action. We've hit a good drive on this par 4. Let's see if we can capitalise on it and make a par. So as you guys would have seen on the drone flyover, actually there was a lot of heather covering the corner on the left hand side to stop you doing exactly what I'd just done. And any member watching this video would have seen me saying it was a good shot on the tee and known that it wasn't going to be. But because of how downwind it was and how far I'd hit it, we only had somewhere in the region about 95 yards left into this pin. So I'm going to take a little gap wedge and just see if we can hack it out this heather, do a better job than we did earlier in the round and get ourselves somewhere around the green. So it's come out really, really nice. It's just going towards the left side of the green, as you're about to hear me say. I think it's not too bad. So that wedge shot actually did really, really well for me. It's got pin high, left side of the green, and left me about 20 foot down the hill. Now, Will and Ollie, the members that I'd let play through, I asked them for a bit of a read on this green. They told me this was going to move just off of the left-hand side. Not too much, but their read was, just maybe 6 inches out the left-hand side. Let's see if I can hit it on that line and make that birdie. Fortunately, I've just pulled that one massively, but great for pace. Nice little tap in for a par 4. Right, 14th hole is another absolutely stunning par 4, playing 404 yards today into the wind, and the target off of the tee is that tree on the left hand side, which opens up the hole as you go around the dog leg ever so slightly. Just as we move up towards the green, you've got some heather on the left hand side and some grass mounds protecting the green on the right hand side, and you want to make sure that you use that tree as the line to guide you into the green. I've hit an absolutely beauty right on that tree. Absolutely delighted with that, even though it's gone a little bit high into the wind. So because of the height of that drive and into the wind, I still left myself just over 200 yards to go with a 5-wood. Don't think I'm going to get there, but managed to strike this one absolutely lovely. It was just heading ever so slightly towards the right of the green. Don't think it's going to get there. Let's see where it ends up. So as you can see here, we've just ended up on one of the grass mounds that's protecting the green. And actually, one of the things about this golf course is it did used to have bunkers on it until during one of the world wars, where the maintenance of those bunkers became really expensive. They didn't have the resource around to do it, so they started to fill them in. And my gut feel was that this may have been one of where the bunkers were before. My goal here is just to take a pitching wedge, just try and chip it up there towards the pin and see if we can give ourselves of just making the up and down. Hit it really nicely, but just came up a little bit higher than I was expecting off the face, even though I was using a wedge, and it's left me quite short of the hole, and a good sort of 40-45 footer for the par. Didn't hit this one hard enough up the hill into the wind, and I've left myself a really smelly sort of 8-footer to go for the bogey. And story of the day, I've hit another good putt, and it's just stayed on the lip of the hole. So just as I've been watching the footage back and editing this video, I'm just reminded about how stunning all of the holes are here, but particularly the par 3s. And the 15th is no different. 153 yards off the tee we're playing today, with that pin in the front position, playing around the 140 odd mark. It was slightly down the wind was sort of down and off of the right, so decided I was just going to try and chip a little 8-iron, try and get it over all the heather and the mounds at the front, and just roll up nicely to that front pin. Unfortunately though, I absolutely skanked it, and as you'll see in a second, we've landed in one of those heather banks. I did though get incredibly lucky and end up in a little bit of a bare patch, which probably feels like one of the first bits of luck I had on the day. So I just needed to pop this out of there, hopefully just get it to just chase up to the green, just give ourselves a chance for that up and down. Absolutely delighted with the quality of strike, and just played it exactly as I wanted to. As you can see here, rolled up to about 3 feet, left myself like a downhill, slightly left to right putt though, so a real slippery one. Had to hit this dead weight to try and have any chance of making it. And just like that, we've actually managed to hole one and rebounded with a really nice par. 16th hole is one of the shorter par 4s on the golf course, playing 340 yards off of the tees that we're playing today, with a forced carry over the heather off the tee into a really generous landing zone. That should give you quite a short club into a rather large and generous 2-tiered green. Pin was on the back of the bottom tier today on the right hand side. I decided I think I could just hit driver today, try and go straight over the path in the middle, and hopefully just get myself a good short club in. Pulled this one ever so slightly down the right hand side, but the wind was howling off of the right hand side, so it just moved it really nicely into the middle of the fairway and just left me with a really nice pitching wedge in. Target here was just to go at the pin again, thinking the wind might move it off to the left. Unfortunately, just started it a little bit left. The wind's then moved it as well, and it's just come up a fraction short of where I wanted to be. When I did get up here, I did actually notice that I pitched maybe a couple of paces further on the green, but it was a little bit of a false front just before you got onto that bottom tier, so it did just spin and roll backwards ever so slightly, and it did leave us about a 40-foot putt up the hill to this pin. Now, I haven't had the best sort of pace putting on these long putts today, so I was really desperate just to roll this one up close and just leave ourselves a nice simple regulation par to move on with. Got my line a little bit out, but pace was absolutely spot on. Tapped it in for a nice 2-putt 4. Really happy with that 4. Right, 17th hole and the last of the par 4s, and another absolute brute. 421 yards off the tees we're playing today. It does dip down ever so slightly off of the tee before raising itself back up as it goes round the dog leg to an elevated green, sitting itself really nicely in that back left-hand corner. The pin on the day was also tucked into that back left-hand corner, so not the sort of pin that you want to be going after. I've got driver. I'm trying to sort of be as brave as I can and go down the left-hand side to take the corner on. but I just wasn't able to do that. And with the wind howling off the left-hand side, it's also encouraging it to move further down the right. But we're absolutely safe, and we will take that. So after a good drive, I've left myself a 5-wood in, the pin's tucked up down the back left, just trying to get as close as we can to it. And unfortunately, I've hit one of my worst shots of the day straight into that tree. Luckily, the ball did just sort of bounce straight down and left me an opportunity to just chip out. We're now in sort of self-preservation mode. Can we chip out? Can we get up and down? Can we make a bogey? Wasn't the best chip out, but we're back in play. That's left me just a nice little wedge in. Again, like I say, you don't want to be taking this pin on, and that was my observation from stood here on the fairway. So whilst the pin was there, I don't think I want to go long of it, and also want to make sure I just play a little bit right of it. I was really pleased with this wedge shot. When I was in the air, it actually looked really, really good, but you just had no gauge of distance. So when I got up here and saw we were sort of 20-foot uphill putt to that back left-hand corner, I felt like it was the most professional golf shot you could hit, even though we are trying to fight to save bogey here. If I'd tried to go any closer, I really could have brought a big number into play and didn't want to do that again. So nice little firm stroke up the hill. Just moved a little bit more right to left than I was expecting it to, but again, really good for pace. Has left ourselves just a nice little tap in to clear up. Not nice to make a double bogey after those back-to-back pars, but it was a tough hole and we did hit a very bad shot. Right, so just before we tee off on 18, just want to say a massive thank you to Phil and Celine, the secretary and assistant secretary here, for their hospitality and for all the help they've given me in trying to get this filming done today. I really hope I've managed to showcase to you and the members your fantastic golf course to the world, because I've been absolutely blown away by it. It's absolutely stunning, and I really hope the drone footage and the footage I've been able to capture has brought that to life for you. The final hole at Piltdown Golf Course is a 170-yard par 3 from an elevated tee to a green that's pitched from back to front, once again with that forced carry over the heather and some heather mounds around the green just acting as that little bit of extra defence. Now this hole was playing ever so slightly downwind and off of the right hand side, so I felt like I could just get there with a 6-iron and hopefully get to the middle of the green and just roll up to that pin ever so nicely. Struck this one absolutely beautifully. Unfortunately, just started it a little bit left. The wind moved it a little bit further left as well. And we've ended up getting ourselves halfway up the green, but just missing it a couple of yards to the left-hand side. Now, I did and ah about whether or not to chip this or to putt this for a little bit of time. I felt like if I did take the chip shot on, I'd take the little mound where my golf bag is out of the equation. But I felt like I've just had a good bit of pace for the greens over the last 3 or 4 holes, and therefore taking the putter was probably the percentage play. Just going to move ever so slightly from the left-hand side as it gets towards the hole. Judged it really nicely for pace, but just didn't start it far enough out to the left. But we've left ourselves a little 3-footer. If you've liked the video, please do hit that thumbs up button. If you're not yet subscribed to Weekend Tour Pros, hit that button down below and ring that bell icon. Now, I've played really, really well in the main today on a golf course that's brand new to me, incredibly tough, and in some of the strongest winds that I would absolutely choose to play golf in. Hoping we can just tap this in, make a final par, and finish with what is a good score. Oh, you snuck in the side door. You beauty. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Goodbye.